Hello everyone, this is Dr. Lori Langdon, board certified pediatrician, mother of 6, grandma to 2. Today's topic is sleep and babies, and I had a request for helping a mom determine the proper melatonin dose. So let's talk about that. We will occasionally use medications to assist in sleep, particularly if someone has a very itchy rash or maybe uncontrolled allergies. They could use an antihistamine at bedtime, such as Benadryl. The generic of that is diphenhydramine. Now, the use of melatonin is not really encouraged. It is thought to be safe. It is just not often helpful. So I think a lot of parents jump into the use of melatonin instead of tackling some sleep hygiene issues first. Now, trust me, I believe you when you say your baby is a really poor sleeper, because we had one of those as well. And very hilariously, he has his own child now who's not a great sleeper either, even when they practice good sleep hygiene. So I don't mean that this is your fault or that you got one of those poorly sleeping babies just because you were doing everything wrong. I don't mean that at all. But I do want to encourage you to do all the proper things with sleep hygiene. So for a toddler or a 5-year-old or even teens or adults, that would include a healthy sleep-wake cycle. So we all, as human beings, have circadian rhythms, that periods of alertness, periods of drowsiness, and we need to stay as routine and in that rhythm as we possibly can. So the sunlight or bright light is sensed by our pineal gland. Our pineal gland also makes melatonin in the dark. So our body naturally makes its own melatonin. But we know that a lot of bright lights can interfere with that production. So let's talk about some sleep hygiene. I would encourage you to limit your child's total amount of screen time per day. If they are under 5, it should be under 1 hour. Under 2, it should be 0, okay? And kids older than age 5, it should always be under 2 hours. Now that gets tricky in the teen years with lots of school assignments being online or lots of computer work in the classroom. So I try to differentiate for my families. I'm talking about not schoolwork related screen time. Limit that to 2 hours or less. But here's the important part too. No screen time for 1 full hour before bedtime, okay? That's for all ages. It stimulates parts of our brain that don't aid in falling asleep. It provides that blue light or bright light that interferes with our body's own melatonin production. Also, having an actual television, computer, or other screens present in the child's bedroom is definitely proven to harm a healthy sleep-wake cycle and is linked with lots of other sleep disorders like sleepwalking, sleep talking, bad dreams, frequent wakings, difficulty initiating sleep and sustaining sleep. So I need for you, if you want to practice good sleep hygiene for your child, before you consider melatonin, to make sure there are no computers, tablets, laptops, televisions, cell phones, none of that stuff in the child's bedroom. Super important. Make sure there's no screen time 1 hour before goal bedtime. Make sure they have some healthy time outdoors in actual sunshine, and actually do some exercise during the day. Physical activity helps make them more tired so they can fall asleep more naturally. Now, melatonin is available over the counter, so this isn't going to be entirely up to you and doesn't have to be prescribed by your physician. Most of the time we have more luck with it if we have a child who needs it for a specific purpose, sometimes with autism or ADHD or things like that. I will say it's okay if you've had a trip across country and your sleep-wake cycle's all mixed up, or if something's happened that's thrown things off and you need to use it temporarily to get back into a healthy sleep-wake cycle. It is not to be used just to encourage more restful sleep. That is not really the way it works. That's more of a myth. So it's certainly not necessary for healthy children who are sleeping well. And those who aren't sleeping well, we may need to work on some routines and some healthy sleep training and things like that. We may need to do a whole nother video on sleep training, because that's tricky, and we can talk about some of those hard choices. So melatonin starts at 1 milligrams, and then in adults can be up to 10 milligrams. Typically in children, we try to keep it under 3, but would start with 1 and work our way up. Again, not typically useful for a typically developing child, but sometimes it is. I'm okay if you want to try it, but only after you've done all the healthy sleep hygiene things. Try to do the exact same things in the exact same order every night for that 1 hour prior to bedtime. Develop a bedtime routine, or even a ritual, you could call it, and that can also help with better, more high quality sleep. Remember, even school-age children often need 9, sometimes 10 hours. Even teens need 8 to 9 hours. So a lot of children out there with all sorts of concerns during the day, like behavioral problems, can sometimes be linked to just some basic lack of good sleep hygiene and good habits. Make sure they're falling asleep in the same bed every night after that bedtime routine, and see if that helps before you have to turn to melatonin. But again, it's not really dangerous. It just shouldn't be necessary usually. Hope that was helpful. Thanks.